So I'll kind of speak in English, and if you guys have any Japanese questions, you can ask the great Hiro-san, right?
Just ask me.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you guys follow at Hiro ZZZZ, but this is him. He's a great photographer, and I'm happy to have him here with me.
Good to be here.
Okay. So whenever I do a photo walk, I like to have a little challenge, not just for myself, but for all of you guys. Okay. And this has also been my challenge in Tokyo. And the challenge is simply to try to look at all the chaos and bring a bit of order to it, okay? Which is not so different than like the goal of my life, right? And that life is chaotic. Life is chaotic, it's constantly changing, stuff is always happening. And I think our goal as humans is to try to find as much meaning as possible, right? Like most of my day, I am just confused by what's going on. And I get excited when something makes sense, right? And so I use photography as a proxy for my life. Especially being in here in Tokyo, such a beautiful city with so much chaotic stuff going on, it's a great challenge to bring simplicity and order and meaning in a photo. So I find this is a great proxy in my real life. Like I'm able to find meaning in my real life. And I don't let the chaos and the change and the constant flux of the universe, I don't let it bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. And I think it's because of photography. There's not that much difference between finding meaning in photography and finding meaning in life. These two things are the same. Okay, so be really open to this creative process. And speaking of creativity, I want to give you a tip on how to help your own creativity. And it's kind of a counterintuitive tip or a counterintuitive idea. And that is not to take yourself seriously at all. Okay? Because the more seriously you take yourself, the harder it is to get those creative juices going. I certainly don't. And completely letting go of the ego and being one with the flow of the universe, you have access to a tremendous amount of energy. Maybe you know people in your life that kind of take themselves kind of seriously, and maybe those kind of people are often bothered by things. Maybe they're always complaining about things, that life isn't working out the way they think it's supposed to work out. Or they're telling them this story about how life is supposed to go and what other people are supposed to do. And when it doesn't go according to this completely fictionalized story in their mind, they get angry and they get upset and they complain. Well, all of that complaining energy is completely wasted energy. That energy should be used creatively, right? Imagine going an entire day and not letting anything bother you at all. If nothing bothers you, you have all that energy around to create. So practice this, okay? You can't do it instantly, but if every day you take yourself a little bit less seriously and let less things bother you, you'll just notice you have a lot of energy. And it's just a great way to do it. And I know a little bit about Japanese culture. I've been here about 8 times. And I know that Japanese culture kind of has two personalities, kind of very serious at work and very silly after work, right? And I encourage you not to take photography seriously. Have it be a silly thing, like a child. If you have children in your life, you know children are the most creative people in the world because they don't take anything seriously. So have a childlike approach to your camera. Play with it. Don't worry about getting a bad photo. Experiment. Don't think like, oh, what should my settings be? Just guess. And if you're wrong, make an adjustment, take another photo. Sometimes I'll sit there and take 20 or 30 or 40 photos until the settings are just right, okay? So be like a child, experiment, and have fun. Don't be hard on yourself, and keep creating. So what's gonna happen on the photo walk? I know most people haven't been on a photo walk. These are really fun. We'll be together about 2 hours. And we're gonna walk around this way. Here and I kind of planned out a route to kind of entertain you. We're gonna stop many times along the way, and I'll give some tips and tricks, maybe some little philosophical mind vitamins. And then we can always do a little Q&A on our stops. Anytime, feel free to come up and ask me a question, okay? I'm a super nice guy, don't be scared. You can ask me camera questions, personal questions, inappropriate questions, whatever you want. Just lay it on me, okay?
And you don't have to answer.
Yeah, I'll always answer. So, firstly, let me just kind of tell you what my setup is here, kind of the technical aspect of it. Before I describe my camera and all the setup, let me first say it really doesn't matter what camera you have nowadays. All cameras are awesome, really. So don't get caught up in all. Photography tends to attract like really brainy, clever people that can really get into the details and the heuristics and the statistics of all this stuff. Try not to get caught up in all that, because it's really about the composition and the storytelling and all this sort of thing, and the post-processing. But having said that, it doesn't matter what camera you're using, because they're all great. This does happen to be the best camera in the world. This is great. It's a Hasselblad X1D. It's a medium format camera. I totally love it. On it, I have a 30mm lens. So in the full frame 35mm equivalent, it's probably about 24mm or so quite wide. It's a prime lens, so I can't zoom or anything. And I'm just gonna try to get some landscapey shots tonight, see what I can find. You guys know I do HDR photography, which is an acronym for high dynamic range. One recent change I made is I often just take one photo. I used to take brackets of 3, but now I just take a single raw photo most of the time. And then I take that single raw photo and we put it into this software that we released called Aurora HDR. The new one, 2018, which is available for Mac and PC, it is great. Just one raw photo, you're good to go. All right, so that's kind of a recent change I've made technically. All right, I guess that's about it. We're gonna kind of go around this building a little bit. I want you guys to take as many photos as you want to, all right? I know people often like to take photos of other people, but sometimes you're scared. Well, I'm giving you all the right to take photos of each other tonight, okay? It's open season. Have fun taking photos of one another and anything else you see. You can stick with me, go find your own fortune, rejoin the group, what have you, okay? We're gonna end up here by this lighthouse. It's really beautiful at night in about 2 hours from now or so. All right, so if you get lost, just come back here and we'll find each other again. All right? Hero, would you like to say something?
Yeah. Let's see.